All right, so going live, and as you can see, I did not mean to. My wife is talking to me for some reason still. Um, I did not mean to put everything in caps, but hey, things happen. You know what I mean? We are trying to figure out what to put with the food she's cooking for her game night tomorrow. And let's get right to the GW. You done goofed up. This is not going to be anything new to anyone. Apparently, a number, I think so far it's two. I would suggest going to the Artcast channel and watching his take on it and everything. But a couple of GW employees, straight up commies too, which is so weird. It's like maybe one of these days I'll get some British person to explain to me why England is so full of commies. It's such a strange thing. It's like, you know what I mean? You know? And you would think that the king of England and Parliament would be like, yeah, we're not down with all this commie shit. So, whatever. But they said some pretty inflammatory stuff about recent events that I don't think I need to get too into. I think we all know who I'm talking about. And so there has been an uprising, as you do. And in addition to the uprising, as you do, there has been some, at least one guy has been suspended. Now, the way I've had it explained to me by an actual Brit is that it's not easy for them to fire people. So first they'll have to like suspend him, and then there'll be like hearings, and then after a while they'll decide if what he did was bad enough to actually be fired. Um, of course, a big problem at Games Workshop is simply this: that a lot of the original creators from Games Workshop have moved on to work at Mantic and write rules, design miniatures, whatever for Mantic. And on top of that, they have been replaced by ideologically, you know, motivated people. And that, of course, we all know is rarely good. It's like when you've got a person working for you that pretty much is so ideologically motivated that they kind of hate the customers that you're trying to sell products to, that is a big issue. Now, what Arch suggested, and he's probably right because I don't know anything about this. This is not my ballywick, as they say. Arch suggests writing letters to the executives, and apparently a number of people have worked together to lay hands on, the email addresses, etc., to send your uh, complaints to. And I mean, like I said, you should go see Arch's video. But I can tell you right now, uh, he said it. I'll say it. Don't go in there like guns blazing, calling people horrible names, etc. If you're going to send emails to like I don't know, the head of marketing or something like that. Be polite, you know. Um, and also, see, Games Workshop does have a weakness that I think sometimes they don't even know they've got this weakness, but it is a weakness, and that weakness is they're publicly traded. And what that means is if they have people at the company doing stupid shit that's going to cause the stock to lose value, then shareholders, in theory, could actually sue Games Workshop for mismanaging the company, by allowing that. So, of course, the people who hate your average Games Workshop players, one of them is the same guy who wrote the, you know, hate is not allowed in Warhammer thing, and if you disagree with us, then go away. You will not be missed. Blah blah blah. So that was one of the guys. The other one's the one that keeps drawing all of the space marines up in like pride colors. He's one of the guys, and he's straight up commie. And then the other one is Mike Brooks, who I guess he's a writer or editor or something,
Hey.
and he's one of them. So, hey, what you doing, Tim?
Uh-oh.
So basically, as I said, if you want the scoop, hey, look, it's Venger Satanis.
Hmm?
If you really want the scoop on this, um, I would suggest going to the Archcast video. He lays it all out. But I was, yes, Satya, I was just mentioning that, yeah, Games Workshop, they cannot seemingly help but shoot themselves in the foot, you know, especially as Britons.
Yeah.
Why would they give a shit what's going on in America? The politics of the United States do not. Here's the other thing, though, too. The one guy wrote some really terrible shit about how this person and that person, all these different people should die and everything. And it's like in Britain, they throw a guy in jail for praying silently outside across the street from an abortion clinic.
Even if they were in their own
But these
home.
guys don't get visited by the bobbies. That's kind of weird, right? Or maybe the bobbies don't know. Maybe
No,
if
no,
you're
it's
in,
not that they don't know. They don't care. God, I'm getting feedback.
you don't know that. You don't know that.
Uh, look,
Maybe if anyone who ends up hearing Arch or this video or any of the other videos about it, maybe if they're in the UK, they should say, "Hey, this guy right here is breaking all of our, hate speech laws on the internet." You know, talking about how he's glad people are dead and he hopes more die, blah blah blah.
it's who they target. That's the problem. That you don't understand. It's who they target. If you're targeting white Christians, it's okay in Britain. If you're targeting Muslims, even if you're just being nice and saying maybe they don't agree with us and maybe we
I
shouldn't be
think
accepting of the law
that if
completely.
the
It's
law is clear cut left, somebody will have to do something.
no, no. It's always been selective.
Oh, you freaking black pilled son of a bitch.
I am not. I'm not completely black-pilled.
That's not Cain. That's actually Venger Satanis, the writer of Chult. Yeah, Arch got blacklisted because he was calling them out on a lot of their bullshit. So then the lore of that is basically Arch was calling them out, and all of the communists over at Sig Marxism, which, believe it or not, is an actual place.
No, I went back to the Kane picture. That's what Soch is talking about.
I know, but I was saying it's Venger Satanis.
No, I don't know what Vendor St. Tanis looks like, but if he looks exactly
Well,
like
look here, dummy. if I say your Kane picture looks like Venger Satanis, guess what Venger Satanis looks like?
He looks a lot like apparently Dave Dugan.
Kane. He looks
Apparently,
like Kane. Come on, man.
well, fair enough.
You're
I
from
don't.
Kentucky. You're not supposed to be like addled.
Mm-mm.
You been drinking or something already today?
A little bit.
Oh my God.
Look,
Anyway,
I've been working hard, man. I've been working.
so yeah, Arch got
Oh,
blacklisted. It was generally a bunch of BS. And he still makes great Warhammer videos and they can't stop him. But
yeah, but I
he
still don't like.
is
I really.
basically the mustachioed Austrian as far as the idiots that hang out on Sig Marxism are concerned.
I still don't like Dev, and he brings him on a lot.
And Sig Marxism, those idiots, you want to talk about, oh man, they are so dumb. Like, I remember one time the big argument was they were trying to accuse Games Workshop of being, racismo because of Skaven, because they were saying that the way Games Workshop depicted the Skaven was like a negative depiction of Jewish people. And of course, anyone who was Jewish was all like, it's not hard to do so. There's a grimdark setting out there some people don't know about. It's not Trench Crusade because those guys are idiots. Mantic Games, or no, not Mantic, Warlord Games is coming out with a grim dark World War II game where the war never ended because of secret weapons and superpowers and shit like that. And so, like, the Germans have like spider tank panzers and, you know,
So Red Alert
it's
3?
yeah,
Underway?
it's kind of crazy, The Germans are there. Well, one of the things the Germans have, they're the Storm something something Soldaten. They're just basically elite German troops in power armor. It might be Conflict 47, but they're taking a new turn with it and they're making it grim dark. So who knows? Maybe a Russian commissar will do a ritual and accidentally summon ghouls out of the ground in Siberia.
Oh, fun. We can have Hellboy in it too.
Yeah. Well, what I'm talking about is from Love, Death, and Robots.
Fair. I was just making a joke.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, one of the shows in Love, Death, and Robots, it's a bunch of Red Army soldiers, and they're in Siberia hunting for the nests where the ghouls live to try and wipe them out. And they had been told, of course, that it was the Germans that did it. But then they found out that it was actually a Russian had summoned the ghouls. And they all end up dying except for one guy. But
That would make the Attack of the Dead Men make more sense, I think.
so,
If you know that song. Ah.
So anyway, that is a good part of in Conflict 47, the Russians are bioengineering human chimpanzee hybrids and shit like that, which apparently Stalin tried a little bit, but it don't work.
No.
Because pig and elephant DNA just won't mix.
Who would have guessed?
Chef from back when South Park was really good. he has to tell the doctor. That's like a take on Dr. Moreau. He's like, pig and elephant DNA just don't mix. But then later they decide to try it out anyway. So Chef sings his song Love Gravy, and the male elephant mounts the pig, and you just hear the pig squealing. And then Chef's all like, now I know what all those white women felt like. And then, that's pretty much it. Because the doctor outside South Park was basically Dr. Moreau. Mm-hmm.
Moreau. Are you sure?
That was an old movie about a scientist that lived on an island and made human animal hybrids.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Until it got away from him and they ended up killing him. Because he's an idiot, right? Because Dr. Moreau's like, let's make some human animal hybrids. And the first thing we need to do, right, is take all the deadliest animals, and that's the ones we're going to mix. So we need like a hyena hybrid, a panther hybrid, a tiger hybrid,
Maybe that was
like
the.
a black Cape buffalo hybrid. Whereas I'm sitting here thinking, why didn't you use like bunnies, mice? Something that, if it uses bolt action, bolt action's not a bad game. And then, of course, Trench Crusade. But my addendum to Trench Crusade, anytime I talk about Trench Crusade, is you can play the game, just ignore the people who created it because they're stupid. And also ignore most of the lore. Don't look at any of the maps because, point one, the creators of that game are dumb.
I think you say that about a lot of creators who create things anymore.
Yeah, but these guys actually had a great idea that was like, oh man, that's good. And then they went out of their way to like destroy their idea.
Okay, fair. There's not as much of that.
And their community, if you go to their like actual, the one they is just full of the dumbest kind of people you'll ever meet. Luckily, there is a what they call based Trench Crusade forum on Facebook. 5 Leagues from the Borderland might be a good game. I heard that Epic Imperialis was a pretty good game. And therefore, I made 2 armies for it. But at the same time, I've been selling off all of my 40K stuff. If nothing else, that means that I'll have a massive storage space savings because, these miniatures are only 8 millimeters tall instead of 32 mil. But now, in other news, Bruce is running his game. So if you want to watch Bruce run his game and see who dies today, that's an option. And me and Timmy will just sit here and talk about,
Hopefully next game I won't die.
Yeah, you will.
Hey, look, we're out of the worst part of it. Don't jinx me, Chad. Don't jinx me there.
Feeling a little like creeped out right now because I can hear my wife in the living room watching Rose Red, which is probably one of the only Stephen King anythings that I think is worth a shit.
Okay, fair.
If you like haunted house movies.
Yeah, less fair. I'm not really a fan of those.
Yeah. I mean, he based it on the Winchester house, so basically it's about a house
Yeah, I've seen
built by
plenty
a
of those.
woman who had like a lot of issues or whatever. And the house never stops building itself. Like even after she's been dead for,
Mm.
a century, the house just keeps growing. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm building some ogrins. Not that you guys will really be able to see too much, but yeah, ogrins. Because yes, Sacha, the very first Games Workshop game I ever played was Space Marine, the epic one that came in a box with like a red army and a blue army, but they're identical Space Marines and rhinos and stuff. And it was I thought it was a really good game. And this game uses a lot of the same exact rules, so that's cool. Like earlier today, I finished a couple of Titans.
Now I'm just thinking I want to play that Star Wars war game again.
Now, and just for scale, the base on front, that's Imperial Guard with a
Hmm.
banner. And
Okay,
this
yeah, so
is the
that looks
smallest
right.
Titan that they have.
It kind
They
of
have
reminds
other
me of
Titans
the.
that are like twice the height of that thing.
It kind of makes me think of the ATST in the Star Wars game.
I would say Games Workshop ripped off either the Marauder or the Clan Timberwolf.
Oh no, I get that, but I was just saying it reminds me of that because that's about the same size for the
Oh
ATSTs.
no, no, this thing's way bigger than ATST.
Oh, I'm talking about in the war game itself. In real life, I think yeah, you're
Because
right.
I have an ATST in 28 millimeter scale. I can show you some stuff. I've been very busy with the building, but the building's been pretty easy. It's been like summertime. Anyway, so I've got the Bane Blade built. This is one unit for the game, as it would be. It's a super heavy tank. Look how big this thing is. And just and there's in the book when you make your army, right? You pick kind of how your detachment is going to be. And of course, they do like by showing you orders of battle. So for the Solar Auxiliary, I could start out with a subcoast cohort, which means I have to take these 4 units, have to take them. But then I could add a Solar Auxiliary armored company, and that would allow me to add a Baneblade and a couple of units of Lehman Russ tanks. So, but even with all of that, it's probably not going to be more than 1,000 points because this game's crazy when it comes to points. But here's what I was going to show. Since you mentioned painting, when the Roomba rhythm hits the sway with me. That's actually from Dark City. I have got the red down on my rhinos, which means I need to go back and carefully, with a very small brush, pick out the bolters, all the metallic parts. And then on the back right here, I need to put the Blood Angels logo. And then I might have to mark them in some way so that um, you can tell which platoon is which. I mean, in this game, rhinos, you kind of buy them as add-ons to infantry units. So, but yes, I've been getting a lot of stuff painted. Pretty happy about that. Pretty happy. Here in a little bit, I'm going to need to, and a little bit could be a couple hours, but I'll need to get the floors and my chores done, and then Me and the wife will go to church tomorrow, which is exciting because, hopefully she will decide to become a catechumen. That would make me very happy. We'll see, though. Can't force her, but. So, see, I just did this just to show you. You've got the bolters on the sides. You've got the oh, look, it actually focused in. The hell. You've got the exhaust on the sides. Um, the good thing about these guys being as small as they are is, honestly, there's just not as much to paint. You know what I mean? Like, because when you paint like a 32 mil scale Rhino, there's a lot of stuff to paint there. But you paint an 8 millimeter Rhino, and it's like, okay, all right, that's good. And for those of you who did, also have these other Rhinos, but these ones I haven't painted yet. I decided to put a Space Marine hanging out the top with a melt-a-gun, because you can do that. You can add a melt-a-gun to the Rhino. So I'll put those over there, though. And I have decided on what color I am painting my my Solar Auxiliary troops. I am painting them Iraqi sand. So they're going to be in a mostly desert pattern. And then, of course, the frickin' Warlord or the Warhound Titans, they'll be super colorful and all kinds of, whatever, because that's just what they'll be. Now, there's one more thing I need to do if the paint is readily available. Nope. I'm looking for my Negros. That's Italian for black paint.
Yeah.
It is?
I know.
Before somebody gets all freaked out on me. Like, look, there it is, duh. Was it a snake, it would have probably, I don't know, done nothing.
Maybe it bit you.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Depends what kind of snake, right? So I'm adding the tiniest drop of that black there, because my full scale Rhinos, a lot of them, the side hatches are painted black. Mainly just because it gives it a little bit of a differentiation, in the color. So instead, just the whole thing is just, straight red with no whatever. The side hatch is black. Not on all of them,
It
but
looks good.
yeah, on some of them. So, like, that's one way to keep track of your, like, what squad or whatever this could be for. And this is something I've done with my bigger ones, is you paint the side door black, right? And then you get where are they? I had it right here. Right here it is. You find you can barely see that V shape.
Okay, so they have
And
like
you can get the V shapes that are much smaller even than that, right?
Okay, that's
And how
fair.
you put the V shape on the door will determine what company it is.
See, okay, that's fair because I would have other ways of doing it. Me, I'd probably go with the accent. Like you make a main color, but then give them an accent for company
Yeah, see, in the U.S. Army, what they do is they put
logo. I think it was.
a
It was some.
V dash number.
Yeah,
So if it's looks like an A and it's dash one, then you know that that's the Command Bradley from Alpha Company.
fair.
And then A-2, A-3, A-4, whatever, and then if you turn it that way, it's D. If you turn it the other way, it's C. And if you turn it upside down, it's B. I didn't come up with it. It's just, a
That's how the
thing.
military does it.
It's just a thing.
Fair.
And sometimes they just use numbers, which is the German style of doing things,
Oh yeah.
where the first number is the platoon and the second number is the vehicle within the platoon. So if you were the first vehicle in the first platoon, you would put 1-1.
I
And
mean, works. That's fair.
well, the Germans are nothing if not efficient, you know?
Well, efficient in certain ways. Again, I think they overcomplicate their vehicles sometimes.
That is
You know,
not that is not a what am I trying to say? Controversial take.
it's like, let's just say they take too much pride in their engineering.
Yeah, like no one in the world is going to be like, "Wow, what a controversial take you just had." It's not going to happen, you know,
No,
because everybody knows that the Germans in World War II, they over engineered pretty much everything.
I think they
Well,
still kind of over-engineer things.
well, I mean, their tank ain't as good as ours
No,
and never will be.
the only thing that we took from their tank was the gun. That was the only thing.
Well, Rheinmetall sells that gun to like everyone.
Yeah,
Like literally pretty much every tank that's fielded by any European army has a Rheinmetall 120 on it, right?
it's not a
But the
bad gun.
American, the new M1 that's coming out, they're ditching the jet turbine engine for like a big Detroit diesel, and they're ditching the Rheinmetall 120 for a 125 with a coaxial 50 millimeter.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Again, advantages and disadvantages on that.
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
No, with the whole jet turbine, maybe not the best thing for a desert situation.
It's not the best thing for anything. It just burns fuel like you wouldn't believe. I mean,
Well,
those
diesels
things
can
get
also.
like the old M1's got like a mile to the gallon or some shit.
I think like certain diesels are like that too, though. It's not like a thing that's.
Whereas our Bradley, you could run that thing for days before you had to worry about refueling.
Well, fair.
No, the whole point of diesel is very efficient on fuel usage. Quick Lee, what
Of
is
course.
up? Yeah, I've got my boy Timmy.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I posted those pictures so I could download them, and the reason for that is I am selling that army. I think I'm asking for like 150, which is about as much as the Keeper of Secrets actually costs new. So, but I'm just getting rid of all of my big 40Ks and old world whatever stuff. It's all going. Um, but it's not going out of any sort of sense of hatred. It's going out of a sense of me knowing I'm never going to get to play it again. That's a big part of it.
And you just mean
And
the base or.
my wife and I would like to do more with the garage.
Hmm.
But right now, that's just not possible because all of my gaming stuff literally it takes up. I kid you not. I should take a picture one day. It takes up half of the garage, and it's a two-car garage, and
Okay.
all my gaming crates and stuff stacked up. It's yeah, you're too far away, especially since I sell them over Facebook locals. And typically, if somebody wants to buy them, they bid, and if they win, they come to my house and give me money, and then they get their stuff.
Must be nice having a two car garage.
It came with the house, man.
Fair. We had a carport, but that thing was basically falling apart by the time we even got it.
Yeah, I mean, that was not why we bought this house. We bought this house
Nah, I
because
get that.
I had a really good feeling about the house when we walked in it the first time. And I
Nice.
told my wife, I was like, I have a really good feeling about this house and neighborhood.
That's completely fair. Not like I hate the house. It's just that two-car garage was basically literally falling apart by the time we bought this thing.
Yep. Well, Chris, one, it looked like the orange man was kind of making Keir Starmer look like an idiot. And two, we all needed a wholesome moment after everything that's been going on. And watching Melania and uh, Frick, William's wife, like giving them Boy Scout awards to, and all that sort of stuff. Uh, and the look on Melania's face when they took her into that place and showed her like the crown jewels and shit. She's like, you know, I mean, that was something we needed. We needed that. And Trump, I mean, I'm not going to say I agree with Charles. I think William will be the king. Charles is a little bit too wishy-washy to me, but it's nice. It's nice. And like Trump keeps telling people, his mother was born in Scotland. So he has a natural positive affinity to the British Isles. Because, I mean, that's where his people are from. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's good. It's good to see America and England, you know, getting the group back together, man. Right?
It would
Like
be
a
nice
band.
if we. It'd be nice if we could get along.
We can get along. There is nothing that has ever happened between America and Britain that's ever going to make it where we stop getting along.
Oh, come on.
Okay, if we're talking sci-fi, like if Britain gets completely captured by Islamists and starts becoming basically like a terrorist state, we'll have problems. But I don't see that happening, man.
I mean, there's historical issues with our relationship.
Dude, I think you just want to be contrarian.
And then, no, I would like for
And
us
I
in
got Shadow for that.
England. Uh, I mean, I wish being like us in England could get along.
We are getting along, ass. Look,
Yeah.
you're going to lose your title of Andy Richter. You will be kicked right off the couch.
Oh.
I'll have to find someone else to sit in your spot. So I'm telling you to calm down. America and England are doing fine. When Canada pulls its head out of its ass, we'll be fine. And the fact that Trump is willing to break bread with the king, that's a good look for everyone involved.
It is better than nothing. I mean, I'll give you that.
Oh my goodness, you're being so negative.
I'm sorry.
Stop being negative. Be positive.
To be honest, things are going way better than I thought they would be.
And yes, Chris Lee, the title is based on which I am not going to go into great amounts of detail. I would tell people, though, again, go watch the Arch video, formerly Arch Warhammer before they threatened to sue him. and he goes into the details and shows the receipts. But apparently, the one that was really, really being a dick, he's been put on suspension, and people are like, "Oh, they just suspended him." But I've had a British person tell me that that's the steps, because in England, your laws about protections for employees are very strict. So you can't just roll in and be like, you're fired. You got to go through a whole thing to show cause. So, but once they show that he's a blatant communist and he said a bunch of shit and he called for the death of all these other people, I think they'll have him. They'll be like, yeah, this guy needs to go, man. I mean, he's going to kill our stock prices, which I think, and I could be wrong, guys, but I think that's what they really care about. Games Workshop can put out little, there's no room for hate in the 40K universe and all that bullshit all day long. But the reality is, they care about the money. And that's, as a red-blooded American, I support that. Because, I mean, they are a business. They have stockholders that they have to pay money to, and investors, and blah, blah, blah. And that means they have to behave a certain way. They can't get away with just freelancing all over the place saying whatever they want. Because imagine if every hardcore Charlie Kirk fan just said, that played 40K, just said, I will never buy another 40K thing again. That could be enough to kill the stock market for them. And then all of a sudden, if you own stock in 40K, you're calling your lawyer up, because apparently if you own stock in a company and they lose money due to stupid shit, you can sue them, at least in America. How about France, our first ally? France does what France wants to do, Satya.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, yes, they were our first ally. We have a giant statue of Lafayette in New York, I believe, and there's Lafayette streets all over the place. He being, of course, the French general that came over and helped teach us how to fight modern war and stuff like that, right? But when Lafayette went home to France, they beheaded him.
Or Lafayette. I mean, he did what he was supposed to.
So there's that part of the whole thing too, though. It's like, you send over a guy, we treat him like a hero because he was. He
Yes.
helps us out. With his help, we end up winning the whole damn war. And then he gets beheaded for being too aristocratic or some shit. That's the French. Plus, even though we like to blame Marx for communism, the French actually invented communism. And they had a number of communist uprisings back in the
Yeah.
early parts of
The biggest
the
joke
modern
is
era.
if France wasn't doing something else, it's basically revolution after revolution.
Yep. There's even like one time when like the French citizens took over like a whole part of Paris and blockaded it off, and
Yeah.
because they were demanding uh, collectivism, right? They were basically arguing for collectivism. And of course, a very young, I think, lieutenant led the army that broke that shit up. And that young lieutenant was Napoleon Bonaparte. And eventually, it was Napoleon Bonaparte who put an end to the reign of terror.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
almost conquered all of Europe, really.
well, he made the mistake you never made.
Yeah, I know. But he came close, man.
You don't get involved in a land war in Asia, and never go up against a Sicilian when death is on the line. Yeah.
I mean,
And the thing is, like, I don't know how it is in other countries, but America is crawling with these people.
yeah.
Except, like if you look at like propaganda from like old school Soviet propaganda, you've got like this tall, blonde haired, fit, almost Aryan looking farmer with his, and you got the woman and she's there with a tool and they're like striding into the future of, greater communism. And then when you come to America and look at communists, they're all trannies. It just is what it is. It's like, you know, all of our communists are gender confused people. Not all of them, but a lot of them. You know, and if you ever, which I don't go on X or any of that anymore, but I see the videos on YouTube, and you'll see some weird, confused he/she complaining about capitalism, and it's like I always get a laugh out of it because uh, the tankies, which are the actual Stalinist communists, would have those people up against a wall and shot so quick
Well,
they
of
wouldn't
course,
even know what was going on. You know what I mean?
because they're
They'd
useful.
be like, but I hate capitalism and I'm non-binary, and the tanky would be like, yeah, up against the wall,
Useful idiots, man. They're the
degenerate.
useful idiots.
Yep, that's what they are. It's like, at what point did anyone ever hear of Stalin, or actually any of the hardcore rulers? But Stalin ruled for so long now. I mean, you might as well have just called him the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
At what point did anyone hear about Stalin promoting any of this crazy shit going on in America?
Oh, of course not. It's a thing of, I think it is a bit of an extension of the idea that in communism, everybody's a cog, that they should be able to fit anywhere. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But
And that's the weirdest thing, is these people don't understand that they can only exist in a modern Western country that's willing to put up with their delusion. Because if they were in an actual Soviet style country like North Korea, yeah, they'd be done. They would be done so quick. Kim Jong Un would not be putting up with any of this purple hair bullshit
wouldn't be
with their
done so at
freaking,
all because they wouldn't have existed.
yeah,
Their
their nose
first
rings and shit. Yeah, that's just
their
not going.
first priority be surviving, not this whole identity stuff.
Yeah, well, that's why the identity stuff is literally a first world problem.
Yeah.
Because in countries like the Congo, South Congo and shit like that, they're a little bit more concerned about not starving to death or being murdered by the enemy tribe, which luckily I think Trump put an end to that, to worry about who's what. Like when you're worried about not starving to death and getting water that won't make you sick, um, all of a sudden pronouns go right out the freaking window, right? Yeah. See, Mao is the perfect case of communism because he effed up China so bad that he had to go back and be like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to do a free market system now,
At least
but it'll
more
be
of them.
ran by the communist government.
Yeah.
But our economy will be free market and we will sell anything to anyone, because the whole Great Leap Forward thing he originally tried to do, I mean, tens of millions of people died. So then he embraced capitalism,
It might
even
have
though
had
they
something
don't
to
want to
do.
say that.
It might have had something to do with him trying to force everybody to learn how to, do metallurgy. in their
It might
backyards.
have had something to do left with everyone starving to death.
And yeah, and that too, because when
And
you
him
have
realizing that if they just started selling junk to everyone in the world, then before long they'd have money and people wouldn't be starving to death.
yeah,
Well, look at that. And the next thing you know, Nixon's hanging out in China with Mao. And the next thing you know, China's like our biggest trade partner.
oh, that
And
might have
then,
been a mistake, but yeah.
then the next thing you know, there's more billionaires in China than there are in America. I mean, which is all just evidence that the entire communist system does not work. China is not a communist nation. It
Maybe
is a
we,
totalitarian nation.
yeah, maybe we should have just stuck to the nationalist China. They would have probably been further ahead at this point.
Yeah, that's called Taiwan.
Yeah, I know. Chiang Kai-shek might not have been the worst thing ever for China. I'm not saying he was great. I'm not saying he was like
I don't know
perfect.
anything about him as a human being. I don't know if he committed war atrocities or anything. I don't know.
Again, from what I've seen, he's not perfect, but he was leagues above Mao.
Yeah, in China, they have counterculture type people, right? And those people have to be like careful, or they end up in like a re-education camp.
Yeah, I think
And
again,
it can be something as simple as those idiots that like to wear the big pompadours and shit like that. I mean, it's like if you step too far out of line, off to gulag.
I'm gonna try to go to Walmart.
Well, you try to go to Walmart, my love.
Well, I want to see how busy it is. I might not end up if it's crazy crackers. But I thought I might get us a rotisserie chicken. Does that sound good?
Always.
Okay. So
And
Oh,
rotisserie chicken, hell yeah. I love rotisserie chicken. But yeah, I mean,
chicken might not be the best, but
it's so
it's okay.
amazing. It's so amazing when you talk to young people and they like, have those opinions. Like, here's a good idea. There's a documentary you can watch. I mean, it's in Russian, but there's subtitles called Cannibal Island. Watch that. Left, don't watch that.
I don't want to. I don't think I'd ever want to hear that.
Well, I mean, I'll do spoilers because I know you're not going to watch it. The Soviets gathered up all of the Latvians and Estonians and stuff like that they'd been fighting with or whatever, and they marched them into Siberia and left them on an island in the swamps with nothing. So the people left on that island started kind of, snacking on each other.
Sounds like communism.
And the guards' job was not to prevent the bad things from happening. Dankula made a video about it. Yeah, that might be where I saw it.
Maybe.
The guards around the island were only there to make sure no one escaped.
Ugh.
They weren't there to stop the people from eating each other. And they were promised tools and stuff, but they didn't get them really. So you had people there who would literally kill another person for a coat, because that was the desperation,
Sounds a lot like communism.
Well, I mean, it was Stalin. What do you think? Yeah.
It's like, who would have expected?
Yeah, who would have expected this? Kind of like how, and this was America being bad guys. At the end of World War II, Stalin demanded that we return German prisoners of war from our care to him, right? And we agreed, and we turned over something like a couple 100,000 German soldiers that had surrendered, and he marched them all into Siberia, and like none of them lived. So basically, we are complicit in the genocide of prisoners of war.
Yeah, yeah. We had a lot of communists in our midst at the time too.
Well, the president,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
McCarthy was right. He did not go far enough.
McCarthy was right. I learned that from watching Razor Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah, McCarthy was right. Hollywood was full of rads, and they
Not
were
just
doing
Hollywood, but
yeah,
yeah.
and they were doing everything they could to undermine everything about American society
It's
and to
again,
spy for the Russians.
yep. It's again why we kind of turned our back on Chiang Kai-shek and just let the communists in China win.
Well, I mean, yeah. But yeah, the only reason the Russians even got the nuclear bomb is
America.
because spies in America stole the freaking blueprints.
Oh, good night, Socha.
Good night, Socha. You have a good one, Satya. I always say his name's Satya.
Socha. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly.
Well, I'm assuming the J is a Y, but that's just I don't know because Finnish is not a Slavic language, so I could be totally wrong.
Finnish is a weird language in of itself.
Right. It's like its own language up there. So,
I know that because of the whole Finns and their song that they used to deactivate Russian mines. Hey, Sarkiev and Polka, man. Look up Sarkiev and Polka if you can even spell it properly.
I know Levon Spoka,
I like Sarkiev and Polka. I remember
which
that.
apparently Levon Spoka, and it's too bad he left. He could tell us if we were wrong. But my understanding is that song is about a guy breaking into um, his future wife's house and kidnapping her and getting her away from her family because there was a time a long, long time ago in Finland when if you couldn't break into the father's house and steal the bride, then you didn't deserve her.
That's a weird tradition, but okay.
Yeah, it's like the chick was down with it. It's not like, it was actual like whatever, but that was just a thing. You had to prove you were strong, right? And
Yeah,
that meant
I
you
guess.
you went to your future wife's house and you kidnapped her. And if you had to get into a fight with her dad, you did. And hopefully you won. And if he was sick and tired of his daughter, he would probably let you. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm throwing this fight." You know what I'm saying? Like you run up to punch him and you miss him entirely, and he's like, "Oh," and falls over because he's just like, "Yeah, I'm tired of that bitch living here. She's getting ready to be your problem now, buddy."
Okay,
But
I found the song. I'm gonna post it in your music channel.
okay.
Oh wait, that's why I can't find it. I'm in the wrong channel.
I have been watching Dungeon Soup, I think.
Oh man, Dungeon Soup, that's fun.
The Chaotic Good Barbarian.
Oh yes,
That guy is like
it's
when he's
funny.
talking to the Lich, and then finally the Lich is, "You're a effing monster." He's like, and then what if maybe I sharpen a stick and I put it way up inside of you, and then it comes out your mouth, and then
Okay, look, come on. My
Like,
my fake eye is the
yeah, my fake eye is the phylactery. Fine, take it. And he takes it and eats it. He's like, now maybe what if I kill you and you regenerate inside my bowels?
oh god.
And the poor lich is just like, what the F is wrong with you, man?
My favorite was the was with the witch because it's
Oh, when
just
he makes her immortal just so he can
torture her all the time.
torture
Yes,
her for all time.
yes.
I'm a fan of the one with Steve too.
Oh, that
Or
was pretty good.
Kevin.
Yeah,
You know? Like,
but
because
I
you know
just
that orc was banging the shit out of Kevin's lady there.
yeah.
Which is why at the end when she's like, take me with you, Kevin, and Kevin looks at the barbarian's just like, no. And then it says, Chad walks away.
I like the first part where it's like, there's better ways. You don't have to
Well,
kill.
first they strike up the conversation over milk.
Yeah,
Milk,
no. Yeah,
good
good
choice.
choice.
It's important to keep your bones strong.
But it's just like
No.
he goes like, I have a vow to not kill it. It's like there are better ways to
The
do
barbarian's
justice.
like, you can exact justice without killing anyone.
Yes.
And he's like, what? And he rolls in and they're all making fun of him and he freaking cuts that orc's arm off. Oh my God, what's wrong? And the other
Hills-
orcs are getting ready to do something, but the barbarian pulls his sword out and he's like, let him cook. You
let him
know,
cook.
like-
It's like
and the orcs are like standing there looking at him like, what is going on here?
it's like, oh
And
well, thanks, buddy. And it's like, oh, why?
yeah. And they have another one with Kevin in it where like a Rasta mermaid tries to kill him.
Kill him, yeah.
It don't work though.
No.
Because the
Uh,
barbarian shows up and just starts effing everything up.
I like the story.
We
with
still
the
have that
animals.
tradition over here, but it's the other way around. My wife had to take on my dad. Well, I have a Viking wife, but she's Danish, so I just had to agree to pay taxes and give up a portion of property, and then she was good. If she'd been Norwegian, who knows? She might cut my throat in my sleep. And we all know Swedes are just untrusting and untrustable. Whatever you
Screw
do,
that. I'll
you
just go
don't
pillaging and
want
I'll
to
take
make
my.
any deals with the Swedes.
Well,
They cannot be
I'll just go pillaging and take my wife.
That's the
Like just
problem is the Swedes always betray whoever's their side they're on. They're like,
see, I won't go for Swedes. I'll make
they're
sure
like,
the
hey,
one's loyal.
we'll help you guys. Ha! No, we won't. Now we're on
Look,
the other side.
when they had actually good kings, they didn't betray everybody.
Whereas the Norwegians are like, we're killing everybody.
Like, I mean, whenever they had Adolphus Gustavus, I mean, great hero, but when he died, it wasn't great.
You're
Or
gonna
Careless Rex.
tell me something really weird, aren't you?
Adolphus Gustavus, he was a great war hero, but once he died, the Swedes decided, fuck it, we're going home.
Yeah, that's what you do.
And then the French had to fight the war.
I mean,
Well, Careless Rex was like a great 15-year-old king, but he was up against such terrible odds, it just wasn't going to work for him. Literally, 3 different nations, like great nations at the time, declared war when Careless Rex became king.
one of the great kings of Norway became king after doing 20 years as a Varangian. And after he was released from duty by the Byzantine emperor, he was given so much money that allowed him to literally go back home to Finland or to Norway and take over as king. I think that was maybe Canute.
Fair.
But then Canute effed around, and I think he went to England to fight at Stamford Bridge and got ran off.
I find Carolus Rex crazy because he was 15 when he became king. Yeah, he had to fight off the Russians, the Danish, and I can't remember the third one.
Yeah, but if you want to know about a king par excellence, like if you want to look up to a king, really there's only one you should look up to. What's up, William Sava?
I mean, yeah.
And no, I'm not talking about Jesus, King of
Oh,
Kings, and all that, even though I do agree with that.
okay then. What king is that then?
See if he'll focus in.
It's not gonna focus in, I don't think. And I
It
don't
it
know.
will, or I'll try right there.
I'm not exactly sure who that is. Was he
Because you
the
don't
one?
know your history really good.
Maybe is he the one that was supposed to be representative from Kingdom of Heaven?
That was an actual king. His name was
Yeah,
Baldwin, King of
Baldwin.
Jerusalem.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I knew
And
it. I just couldn't remember.
when he was in his teenage years, he defeated the entire Saracen army, all of them. Even though he's outnumbered about 10-1, he crushed them. He crushed them so hard that Saladin had to flee to Egypt.
Okay, that's fair.
And Saladin said, as long as that king sits in Jerusalem, Jerusalem will never fall. And he was right,
To
because
be fair,
Jerusalem never fell until after Baldwin died.
Saladin had other respect with another king, but one that was technically English but more French.
William,
No,
or was it Richard?
Richard.
Well, of course.
Richard the
I mean,
Lionheart.
you know, if you're not talking about King Kong, well, King Kong is the greatest king of the jungle.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. But he's not the greatest king of Jerusalem. I mean, you know.
Or any of the other great kings. Man.
Even though he did keep stealing Mario's girlfriend.
That's Donkey Kong.
Well, whatever. And if I were Mario, I'd start getting a little suspicious about that shit.
Kind of like that paladin.
Yeah, I'd be like, bitch, how is it that every time I turn my back on you?
It's like, what the fudge?
What the yeah, because you can't curse. He's like, I can't even walk down the street without you getting captured by this damn giant ape. I'm starting to think there's something going on here. You know? Like, but King Kong, King of the Monsters, maybe. Maybe. I'm sure the Japanese would disagree vehemently.
Dracula, man.
And they would say that no, the king of the monsters is Godzilla.
Gojira. Hey,
Gojira.
Gojira. Gojira, 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 Gojira.
But no, that miniature, I bought him specifically. I don't know why, because I don't have an army for him to lead. But I really wanted a King Baldwin miniature, and I painted him up like he appeared in the movie. And then I also have him on horseback too. So, you know, I can have him on the battlefield mounted or unmounted, but his story is really sad. How they figured out he had leprosy is when he was a young boy, him and the other young noblemen were, you know, boys, were playing this game where they would pinch each other to see who could take the most pain. And he won every time.
Oh wow.
And
That is
eventually,
sad.
his mentor, tutor, whatever that his father had got for him, when he noticed it, he was like, oh shit, the boy's got leprosy. And then shortly after that, Saladin put together an army that was so massive, it drove up horse prices throughout the known world because he had bought so many horses and everything. And he invaded the kingdom of Jerusalem, and Baldwin crushed him in battle.
Damn.
Yep. And then Saladin had to flee to Egypt, like I said, because he got news that one of his brothers had heard he had died and was trying to claim the throne. So
Uh,
he had to haul ass to Egypt to be like, hey, I'm still the
no.
caliph, man. Calm down. You know, shit ain't
Hey,
what you
no.
think.
I'm still good. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
I'm still over here. I don't know if he killed his brother or not, but you know, it wasn't uncommon.
Probably.
Yeah, it wasn't uncommon for that sort of shit
How
to
old
go
was
down.
Baldwin when he did that?
I think he's like 13 or 14.
God, that'd be really young.
Yeah, yeah. The movie that Baldwin was in, that was The Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, I'd say a terrible version of that movie. Or that
And
story,
that's when
really.
Saladin shows up with the army of Damascus. And then you see the golden cross glowing, and the Christians ride up, and it's King Baldwin that rides up on the horse. And him and Saladin talk, and Saladin agrees to take his ass back to Damascus before there's problems. I mean, he handled it really well. He's like, you know, stay and we will all die here. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, what? If you stay, we will all die? Yeah, I don't think I care for that shit. I think I could do without that, you know, the all dying. I mean, that don't seem like a good idea, right? Like, no, no. Nobody wants that.
If only we could get a better version of the Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah,
One
well,
that's actually accurate and good.
yeah, the problem with any Crusader movie you ever see is you have to keep in mind that all of the people who make movies nowadays have been raised to absolutely hate the Crusaders
Yeah.
and to view the Crusaders as the bad guys in that conflict, despite the fact that the exact opposite is actually the truth. What's up, Squirrel Hermit?
Yeah, quickly. Again, take that movie with a great grain of sand.
Unscripted, what's up?
Yeah.
I hear Trenchcoat Crusades did even worse than GW. Wasn't the Trenchcoat? No, that's the Trenchcoat Mafia.
Yeah.
That was the idiots that shut up Columbine. But how you doing? And since it's probably a long time gone, I'll put the link back in just in case one you wants to. No, Games Workshop had some employees that said some very impolitic things and caused a little bit of an uproar amongst their more right-leaning fan base. And so they are,
I
I
mean, what
think,
is
hands
new
on it.
with Games Workshop?
Huh?
What's new with that?
Well, these guys were apparently talking about how much they hate Christians, Charlie Kirk, you know, all of that. And one of them is like straight up an LGBT guy. He's the one that they put in like I think White Dwarf or whatever. He painted one Space Marine in each of the LGBT flag colors. So he had like the blue and whatever one for trans, and they put it in one of the books. And it's just like, The only Space Marines who have functioning wee-wees are the Emperor's children, and you do not want any part of that.
Oof.
Yeah, the Emperor's children, Chaos Marines, you don't want that. They're like the Reaper or the Reavers from frickin' Serenity. They will skin, eat, and grape you, and not necessarily in any particular order.
Oh, James, remember, my blade is so great.
My blade, and he breaks it.
It's like, your problem was that your blade was just too good. My blade will rend you asunder after a million
It's a
blows.
toothpick. My blade will take days to rend you asunder. It's a freaking toothpick. It's just like, really, dude? That's a cartoon on YouTube called Dungeon Soup. And the specific thing is the chaotic good barbarian. And I'm not sure he's at all good. Maybe.
Look, he does evil things to evil creatures. So it's
Yeah,
chaotic good.
that's the thing. Like when he goes to the vampire's house and F's him up.
It's like, Dinkelmeyer, what's wrong with you?
And it's like,
Do you not know that I'm a vampire?
and you clattering around in that armor like a piece of dog shit. It's like, okay.
Wait, have you seen the part with the vampire talking to his, like, familiar?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that is hilarious. It's like,
And the familiar
what
just
the?
keeps smacking the shit out of himself and apologizing.
Yeah.
And the
It's
vampire's
like,
like,
I'm sorry, master. I didn't know vampires were so weak.
and the
You
vampire's
called
like,
me weak? Do you know how hard it is to live over 1,000 years with these weaknesses?
yep, it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff, guys. I mean, each episode's about 30 seconds long.
Yeah, they're not
But
long.
and yeah, I got the Games Workshop news out of the way pretty quick. Basically, go watch Arch. He goes into a lot more detail about who did what and when and to whom, and he also actually has like an action objective plan on how to deal with it. The one asshole in question has already been suspended, which, Chris, if you're still in chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong. In Britain, you can't just fire somebody. You have to go through like 5 steps or some shit. So,
Would you
so
really
yeah, because a lot of people in America were like, oh, they just suspended him. Bullshit, right? And yeah, one of my English buddies is like, dude, I mean, England, it works different. It's not like a right to work state like Florida where your boss can just roll in one day and be like, hey, F you, get out, pack your shit.
Would you really
They,
want to
they
start a
have
business like that, though?
protections. So they have to suspend him and they have to do a investigation. And then the investigation has to come back and say, yeah, what this guy did is really bad for the company, at which point then he can be fired. But there's like a lot of moving wheels there. So, but I mean, it's the same old shit. And I'm about over it. And by over it, I don't mean unfilling. I just, like I made the one video, and I'm not going to try to opine too much on this, but I had no idea there were so many just bad people in America. I don't know why I didn't know. Maybe because I'm an optimist or something. But I literally just had no idea that America was full of such hate mongering scumbags. And I learned I was wrong. And there's nothing else to be done about it. You know what I mean? So, like, if I see people behaving that way, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Right. So Lee's backing me up. There's a whole thing. It's not like here. In the state of Florida, if you do anything your employer does not like, you can be let go. And since it's right to work, unions mean nothing. And I was in a union for years. I was in IFF 4253, I think, which is the firefighters union. Because if you're going to work as a firefighter, you got to be in a union. Because the administrators will F you over every second they can. I don't know what it is, but the guys in administration, HR at City Hall, hate the firefighters. Like, you know, and are constantly looking for reasons to fire you. But if you're working in like the water department, there's no union there. If they just get sick of your ass, they'll fire you. You know, I've seen them. Well, one time they tried to fire this one guy I used to call Scuba Steve because he was ex-Navy and he is married to this Filipino lady. He's always trying to hook me up with Filipino women, but I was with my wife at the time. They were trying to fire him, and it was entirely bullshit. Because the problem, and this happens in some places, and it happened here, is there was kind of a good old boys club where like the managers kind of got together on Saturday nights to play poker and talk shit about behind everyone's back. And they had decided they wanted to get rid of Steve because he was old and whatever, right? And so they started going about their way to get rid of him. And as soon as he figured out what was going on, he threatened to file a complaint of they're trying to fire him for being old, which apparently is against the law. You know, like you can't legally fire somebody just for being old. And it saved his ass, actually. Because, yeah, he threatened discrimination because of age. And they backed off of him. But they were 100% determined to get rid of him. And what's funny is one of the idiots that was down with the clique trying to get rid of Scuba Steve, he ended up getting fired for doing something that his boss told him to do. But when he emptied the water line out into the ditch ran into a pond and killed every fish in it because that water line was being bleached, you know, to clean it before you put it in service. And the guy who told him to do it, as soon as his boss said, "Did you tell him to do it?" He was like, "Nope." So that guy lost his manager's position and the whole 9 yards. And man, I used to make fun of him every day when I worked there. Because I'd be like, not one of the good old boys anymore, right?
The only good old boy until you're useless.
In this case, quickly, though, because they have so much like internet evidence, I don't see this guy. If they do an investigation, he'll be lucky not to go to prison. Because England's already got some strict rules about hate speech online. And this guy was dropping some serious, like for real hate speech, you know? It wasn't just, I didn't like Charlie Kirk. Fine, you don't like Charlie Kirk. Some people did, some people didn't. It was more like, I hate Charlie Kirk and everyone that went there, and I wish they all had got shot, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was literally, you know.
Calling for violence, probably, at that point.
Bear, she's out with the big chow. So stay there.
Uh-oh. Bear loves the big chow.
I know. Big chow doesn't like that.
I know. My poor dog. The neighbor catty corner from us has this big freaking female chow, right? And she is a chow. And anyone who knows about chows knows exactly what that means. which is she likes one human being on the whole planet and wants everything else killed ASAP, by her preferably, right? My little Pomeranian is in love with that child, like totally in love with it, wanting to go out and freaking. And we're like, Bear, you can't go out with her. She doesn't care for you. That's an elderly lady, and she's 4 times bigger than you, and she would bite your head off. But our boy ain't wanting to hear it. He's all like, nah, I'll be fine.
It's like our Siberian Husky, man.
Just let me go. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And me and my wife were like, I don't think you're going to be fine. Don't push it.
Our Siberian Husky, when we had a Siberian Husky, it got loose, wanted to herd the cows, and those cows didn't want to be herded, and so she got kicked in the face by that cow.
Yeah, we had a dog that tried to run up on my horse, and the horse kicked it right in the face. And for the longest time, it had a horseshoe mark over its eye.
There was a mark over that Siberian Husky's eye.
It's actually my mom's horse, but
that Siberian Husky
that horse absolutely hated men. It hated men.
That Siberian Husky got kicked over the eye with the cow. We thought it was dead for a second. We were just sitting there like, oh crap! It got back up and just walked to us like nothing happened, and we're like,
same.
Okay, then.
We were like, that dog's dead. And then it got up and shook it off, and I was like, well, okay then.
It's like, well.
Well, I mean, baby, you said you were going to get a rotisserie chicken, so I assumed you did.
Well, they don't always have it.
So,
I might.
But I appreciate you keeping me up to date on what's going on.
I might be needing to get off and soon fix myself dinner. Not yet that time though. So
our dog's like, let me out. I want to go talk to the chow. He's like, no.
Don't let it go to the chow.
Like, no. The chow hates everyone.
It's
like the lady who owns the chow is super nice. And she even already warned us. She was like, my chow hates everything and everyone.
Might want to keep your dog away.
Oh, she keeps it on a leash. I mean, she's not letting it just run amok.
Fair. I mean, my Japanese chin isn't going to cause any real major trouble if we let it out. We do anymore.
Well, yeah, my Pomeranian isn't going to cause any trouble because 1, he loves literally everyone, and 2, he's little.
Yeah. Worst our Japanese chin will do is just bark at the bark at the neighbor's dogs.
Chris, you're 100% correct. In America, the only thing that you should ever get in trouble for speech is if you're saying something that could incite people to violence. So, like, I can stand out on the sidewalk and call everyone, a bunch of twats all day. And of course, I will not be protected from somebody stopping and pulling over and trying to put their fist in my face. That could happen too, because this is, Florida. But it's not illegal. Like, how people get all touchy about, say, certain magic words that have an I in them and a couple of G's and an R and an E. Anyway, I was going to do the ginger joke, but anyway, I can stand on the corner and yell that shit all day.
Oh, come
Will
on.
Somebody try to beat my ass? Probably, but I can do it legally. What I cannot do is say that, not only do I want you dead, but how I want you dead. So all of these people who are like, somebody please kill Trump, um, I guarantee you a lot of them don't know that they will be visited by the Secret Service at some point.
Should be.
Some of them already have.
Yeah.
Some of them already have. Like Hassan Piker, he has already received a couple of visits.
Oh yeah.
He'll be lucky to survive because Elon Musk is against him. And
Again, I
once
think he.
Elon starts posting shit on X about you, you're pretty much in the radar. And it's like they said in the army, the worst thing you want to be is on the radar.
Yeah.
Because now the drill sergeant will be watching you for all of your F ups, and you'll pay. You know what I'm saying?
Again, with all he's already said, I think he should be deported.
Is he a legalized citizen? I know he's born in Turkey.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he technically
But
might
if
be
he's
legal,
here on a citizenship because he was here long enough to get his green card, green cards can be revoked.
Yeah.
They could send his ass right back to Erdogan and let Erdogan deal with him.
And they should.
But yeah, regardless of all that, yeah, Elon literally sent a message to Jeff Bezos, being all like, "Are you aware of what's going on your Twitch channels?" Because Bezos owns Twitch.
Yeah, Bezos owns Twitch. Like, it is owned by Amazon, so yeah.
And if somebody's on there calling for the death of everybody and something happens, Bezos could indirectly find himself responsible.
I mean, here's the thing. He's already had terroristic threats against specific people, including a U.S. senator.
Well, he didn't he call for the death of Rick Scott?
Yeah. I think it was Rick Scott, yeah.
And he told some people on his channel that he told people on his channel that they should murder all the landlords and let their blood drain into the street and shit like that. Which is hilarious considering he's a multimillionaire. And it's like he's pretending to be a communist, but it's like, dude, your car costs twice as much as my house.
I mean, to be fair, what's the difference between a communist and one? Well, not the. It's more like, what's a communist without a Gucci bag, you know? Because they all seem to have one.
You've been listening to Nuxnor. He's a communist with a Gucci bag. He's got to have his stuff. He's got to have his swag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nuxnor has made it like super personal. Like he is going after Hassan like it's his job, which I guess it is.
Yeah, kind of.
Since he gets paid to make videos.
Yeah.
But I love our Pam Bondies. I don't know enough about the British legal system to have a lot of opinions, but what I have heard, granted, I'm not going to say it's 100% true, but I've heard some shit that for Americans, it's just like, what? No way. Like, how many times do you guys intend on throwing Tommy Robinson in jail for nothing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that poor guy. I mean, what is he actually doing that's pissing everyone off so bad? But I don't know. I'm not British. So I don't know. But see, that's the thing, you know. If you're online too much, eternally online, which I try not to be, then it's really easy to hear a lot of stuff. Well, you just hear all the negative stuff, right? I mean, that's what it is. You just hear all the negative stuff. You never hear anything positive. ever.
Well, every once in a while you'll hear one good maybe story that everybody likes, but it is mostly negative.
Like Chris said, it was really cool to see Trump visiting the royal family and Melania hanging out with William's wife and all that. That's cool. I love that.
Nope. I
But
think I gotta go. I'll see ya.
you gotta go.
Yep. I'll
Catch you
see ya.
later, homie. Yeah. So our deal with free speech is you're free to say pretty much whatever you want as long as you're not inciting violence. You are not free from other people hearing what you said and being like, that guy's an asshole. But what happened with Charlie Kirk, that is beyond the pale. I mean, some transvestite sniper, which would be the fourth or fifth one in a row, climbing up there to kill a guy because he has very strong Christian beliefs. Yeah, that is way beyond what America is all about. You know, um, typically, yeah, you're not. And then on the news, they'll be like, "There's actually more right-wing violence." It's like, no, there's not. You're lying. And if you look up they'll start quoting this poll and that poll. The polls they quote, they count Aryan Brotherhood hits in prison as right-wing violence, but they didn't count anything that happened when they burnt everything down during George Floyd's whatever. They didn't count any of that as left-wing violence, and that's how they get over on people, right? They only keep track of the violence happening from one side. And then you're like, wait a minute, like, hold up. You're counting like literal gang violence happening in prison as right wing violence, but you're not counting the 55 shootings that happened last weekend in Chicago? I mean, how's that work? But yeah, a lot of these groups like the Southern Poverty Center and the ADL and stuff like that, when they're trying to argue for white supremacists all over the place doing horrible shit, they're actually half of the time using the Aryan Nation in prison as the example. And that's so crazy because it's like those dudes are in prison. So they're in prison shanking each other. I mean, that's what you're going to count? Like for the longest time in America, before somebody put an end to it, they were counting suicides, self-deletions. If you used a firearm, they were counting that as a gun crime, a gun death. And then they'd say crazy shit like, last year there were so many mass shootings. But they wouldn't say like what they were actually talking about. It's this weird way where these people, they play games with numbers. Like for one thing, in America we do not have a school shooting every week. It's actually kind of rare and terrible. But the bad people who would like to take our rights away from us, they consider the gang violence that happens in Chirac every weekend to be mass shootings. So then when they're talking about mass shootings, they'll say there's been 53 mass shootings just this month alone, right? And 52 of them will have been gang violence in South Chicago. Because again, not a weekend goes by in that city that you don't have at least double digits. of, you know, people shooting each other. I mean, shit. You can look it up. It wasn't that long ago. Some dudes decided it'd be cool to shoot up a funeral home. I guess because the guy they were burying was like someone they didn't like, their gang didn't like. So, I mean, they shot up the funeral home where they were, you know, preparing the body. I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that they do. Yes, media. A lot of people say this in American media. I don't know if they say it in British media, but maybe they should. And it is that you don't hate the media enough because they're just lying all the time. Like, that's all they're doing. They're just telling lies and hoping that you will take it hook, line, and sinker because, you know, that's what they do. So, like all the lies they're telling about Jimmy Kimmel getting fired, he didn't get fired for what he said. He got fired for blatantly telling a lie on an affiliate television channel that is licensed through the FCC. And it is against the law in the United States for people to lie, blatantly and knowingly lie about news and stuff on television. So that's what got him. That's what he got caught up in. Had he kept his mouth shut and shit like that, he'd be made in shade with lemonade, you know? But he told a lie that was provably a lie, and therefore he's getting cooked, you know? And there are people that are like, oh, it's not fair, but it's like, dude, I mean, for the guy to get up there and try to claim that the shooter of Charlie Kirk was a right-wing MAGA supporter, etc., Kimmel knew that was a lie. Before he said it, he knew that it was a lie. And he said it anyway. And it's like, the FCC is kind of like the BBC. They're the guys that control who gets licenses to broadcast on American TV. And yes, it is a government body. So that's the other thing too, because one, he picked 3 days after Charlie Kirk died or some shit to like get on TV and tell a blatant lie during a time period where the chairman of the FCC is a staunch Trump Republican. So it's like, yeah, you're screwed, buddy. You might have got away with that under Sleepy Joe, but you're not getting away with it, you know, under the Trumpster. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another thing about America. Is our country drastically changes every 4 years, or can. Which is why, even though I haven't been on my own Twitter forever, or X now, I have myself marked down as pro-monarchist, because my idea is if you have a good king and he rules, you know, through divine whatever, then as long as the king lives, which can be 50, 60 years, you will have a very stable government. The laws aren't going to change. Everyone's going to know the deal. But the problem with our democracy, not that I want to overthrow it or anything, but the problem with our democracy is every 2 years, everything can change. You know, something that's legal today can be illegal tomorrow, and on and on. Hey, how you doing, Off Grid? But yes, the FCC is a government body and not one you really want to mess with. I mean, you know, for real, those guys are not playing around. And the guy in charge of the FCC, like I said, a very conservative guy who also happened to be friends with Charlie Kirk. So, yeah, talk about the absolute worst time for these idiots to get on TV and start talking smack like that. But it is a true story in the United States. If a broadcaster allows things to go on that he knows are not true, in theory, they can lose their broadcast license. Yes, a divinely appointed monarch is what I'm talking about. I think I'll probably have to wait until the second coming to see it if I survive that long. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about over here. And I know some people aren't very religious, so they don't get it when I say monarchy is inevitable. But that's kind of like an inside joke, because if you are Christian, you believe that it's inevitable that Jesus is going to come back to earth, right? And when he comes back to earth, he will rule as a divine king. Therefore, the argument that monarchy is inevitable. If you're not Christian, then none of that matters to you. So, yep. But old George Washington had to be too good. Too good for his own good, maybe. I don't know. They offered to make him king, and he was like, nope, not doing it. Wouldn't be prudent. I'll just be president for 4 years, and then I'll go on about my way back to Virginia to grow, you know, hemp and frickin' tobacco. What are you cooking, babe?
I'm just making some garlic bread.
Oh, okay. I'm about done here. Are you wanting to watch TV?
Well, I am watching TV. I'm still watching Rose Red.
Oh, you're still watching Rose Red, aren't you?
I'm having a bit of chicken now, but I decided to turn my.
I agree, Off Grid. Okay, okay. Yeah, I got you. I was just asking to see what you had going on over there. I'm gluing tiny, tiny little people to tiny, tiny little bases with extra thin Tamiya glue. We're going through a time warp. Yeah, Blitzkrieg block. Hey, oh, let's go. I got a question, and this one might set Lee off a little bit. Let's see. Lee, who do you think was the better punk band, the Ramones or the Clash? And I know we're both kind of got something riding on this because, you know, the Clash is British and the Ramones are from New York. So, you know. So, who do you think was better? interesting. It'll be interesting to hear what you say. My brother, I know what he would say. Because he and I have had many conversations about this. And no, you can't alternate in Sex Pistols. You're wearing a Ramones t-shirt. So, yeah. My brother is the super Ramones fan. I've always been kind of more of a Clash fan. Which doesn't mean that I dislike the Ramones. I love the Ramones. Like, I Want to Live is one of my favorite songs. But I don't know. London Calling, Rock the Casbah, what's the one where they're talking about Bingham's burning or something like that? Yeah. But you've got one. Yeah, Hungard, I think, still has his. It's got like the Seal of America, but it's the Ramones. Of course, I've been listening to the Ramones a lot more lately. Yeah, me too. Like the other day, I was jamming out to Pet Cemetery. What a crazy song, you know. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live this life again. I don't want to be buried in the pet cemetery. Yeah. Bear told me a funny story, which was basically that when the Ramones showed up at the Heebie Jeebies or whatever to play, the manager thought they were there to rob them. So that's kind of funny. And then, of course, my favorite used to be punk band and then did stop being a punk band is The Cure, question mark. They're one of my top bands, The Cure. But like, they definitely started out punk and then they kind of just started doing their own thing, I guess. And what's crazy is on YouTube, you could look up the video Killing an Arab. You can't do that anymore. You can listen to the song live, but you can't look up the video. And Killing the Arab was the B-side of Boys Don't Cry. So. Staring at the beach, staring at the sand, staring at the ground, at the air, the ground. I'm alive. I'm dead. I'm a stranger killing an Arab. I could turn and walk away, or I could fire the gun. Right. And in the end, what would it mean? Absolutely nothing. I got to see The Cure in concert, one of the best times of my life. And I got it because my brother got the tickets for me. Hungar did. And I took a filthy, big bootied goth hoe to see it. I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd tucked my brother, but you know, sometimes when we're on together, I haven't seen him today, but Hungar will say something like, James used to be a total simp. And I'll just be like, yeah, he's right. When I was young, I was a total simp. I got over it though. It was a long, hard lesson. But eventually I learned. Whereas Hungar is the exact opposite. I think the only woman Hungar actually cares deeply about at all might be our mom and his daughters, and that's about it. Didn't we say no? Yeah, what we say here in America, Chris, is we say, who sings that song? And then when the person says, The Cure, the response is, well, how about you shut up and let them? You know? And it's kind of a, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, you got me. The problem is, and this is the problem, what we have here is a failure to communicate. Not really, though. What we have here is a person that really likes to sing, except lacks all ability to do so. I still sing, I'm just not good at it. Yep, moms, mama, Ema. That's Hebrew, though, Ema. But like in Russian, you would just say mama. Well, guys, it's about time to go. I have managed to put together a unit of Imperial Guardsmen. I'm not going to call them Solar Auxiliary. We all know they're Imperial Guard. They're just in 30K. A command unit, 4 30K Sentinels, the Walkers. The 40K ones apparently got like a lot more weapons on them. They got like the big gun in the center and then like missile pods and whatever. And 4 units of Ogren that have been modified with like saw blades and a gun. And I have so many more of these damn things to do. Like, and I haven't even started working on the support units. But the support units are going to be pretty easy since it's only 2 bases. So, glue 10 guys down. So, I have a feeling based on the rule book army building that the solar or the Imperial Guard stuff is going to be mostly tanks. I have a feeling. And then I have a feeling that my Blood Angels will be using quite a few of these. You know what I'm saying? Just because, I mean, you know, that's the Blood Angels thing to do, right? Just start dropping baloney out of the sky on people. Be like, oh, you thought you were safe over there? Nope. Here comes, you know, 20 tactical Marines and drop pods. I will do so. Until next we meet, friends, kameraden, and Tavarish. Peace and love. Have a wonderful day. Not running any games tomorrow. Tomorrow is my wife's what's it called? Board game night, which will be cool. We will all get together and we will play board games, which is something my wife absolutely loves to do. So that'll be cool, right? So, yeah. Okay. I was double checking something. Yeah, you too, Kyle. Be good. Try not to get stabbed.